Fellow citizens, it is with pride and pleasure that I join you in the celebrations of our Republic Day. It falls within the year of the Golden Jubilee of our independence. On this doubly auspicious occasion, I extend my warm greetings to all fellow citizens in India and abroad, and to our defense forces guarding the integrity and security of our country. Republic Day is more than a national day. It is an anniversary of a defining moment in our history. It was on this day in January 1930 that the Indian National Congress, meeting on the banks of River Ravi, declared that the goal of India was Purna Swaraj, and that it was the right of every Indian, as of every other people, to have freedom, and that if any government deprives a people of their rights and oppresses them, the people will have a further right to alter it and to abolish it. It was on the same day in January 1950 that we gave to ourselves a constitution. Among the foremost of the goals we set before ourselves were our unity as a nation and a people, and their journey towards an egalitarian order. From the Upanishadic idea of the world as a single family to our struggles for independence, for nation building, and for world cooperation, India was preoccupied with the concept of unity. This urge for unity was as much a product of our philosophical and humanistic thinking as a response to the challenge of the wildly pluralistic nature of our society. We know that this unity in diversity is a secret of our viability as a nation and our strength. The binding force of our age-old culture, the long tradition of our tolerance, the network of socio-economic bonds that we have built up among our people, and above all, our vibrant democracy have made the unity of India unassailable. And yet, there is our historic tendency to quarrel among ourselves. In the midst of these differences and quarrels, we should not forget to nurture and strengthen the unity, integrity, and security of the nation. The sagacious words of Bhishma in the Shanti Parva of Mahabharata we must pay heed to seriously. Gana mukhestu sambhuya karyam ganahidam mitha prithagganasya bhinnasya vidadasya tado anyatha artha pratyavasidanti tadha anartha bhavanti cha. It means leaders of the Republic should unitedly pursue the interest of the Republic as a whole. Otherwise, discord among them lends to emergence of numerous antagonistic groups which disrupt its functioning, leading to disastrous consequences. The unity of country also is the combined outcome of political, social, and economic development, and of a sense of fairness and justice pervading the body politic as a whole. The state should deliver the goods to the people and meet their established and rising expectations. We have registered some notable successes in this respect. At independence, our agriculture was at subsistence levels and our industrial development was rudimentary. Thanks to 8 5-year plans, 6 years of economic reforms, and the harnessing of science and technology for economic development, India has made a great deal of progress on all fronts. Slowly but surely, our economy is being transformed. Real incomes are rising. Life expectancy has doubled and poverty has declined. During the 8th five-year plan, economic growth accelerated to attain an average of 6.5% per year, the highest achieved during any five-year plan period. Despite the unprecedented financial and economic crisis in neighboring countries of East Asia, the Indian economy has continued to perform well and the external sector has remained resilient, partly due to the indigenous prudence we have exercised in the execution of our liberalized programs. In spite of the Green Revolution, it is an unfortunate fact that hunger and malnutrition persist in our rural as well as urban areas. There is a need now to go beyond the Green Revolution and bring about a nutritional revolution in this country. The food and nutritional needs of the poor in India, especially of children and women, must be tackled. Besides, on this anniversary of our republic, we must resolve to complete the unfinished task of land reforms that we embarked upon years ago and empower the landless poor and small farmers who have not got any benefits from the Green Revolution. Much of the poverty and unrest in rural India, the caste conflicts, and the economic violence can be traced to the gross injustice in the distribution of land and to some kind of counter-revolution that is taking place, holding up the implementation of land reforms and the snatching away of whatever benefits progressive legislations had bestowed upon the poor. As a people, we are generally prone to take delight in debunking our achievements and successes. That is not an altogether negative fact. But on an occasion such as this, we must count our blessings and celebrate our successes. We must also squarely face up to our failures and shortcomings. One often hears people asking why it is that after 50 years of independence, there are in India the largest number of people living below the poverty line, and that in the midst of plenty and wasteful, conspicuous consumption among sections of our society. Indeed, the idea of austerity and the word itself has disappeared from our vocabulary. As regards literacy, is it not a shame that in this land known for its traditions of philosophy, scholarship, intellectualism, there exists the largest number of illiterates in the world? To find an answer to these ironies, we must look at our society with open and penetrating eyes. Ours is a society divided vertically and horizontally in innumerable compartments. Economic development, technological changes, social reform movements have not succeeded in pulling down these domestic walls, even though they have been considerably lowered, and benefits of development do not flow from one compartment to another. The result is uneven development and existence of plenty and poverty, change and stagnation almost side by side. How can we tolerate indefinitely these dangerous dichotomies and inequalities? We are witnessing today uncontrolled growth of communalism and casteism, snuffing out the lights of secularism in our country, and the increase in corruption, violence, and criminalization of politics and society. The state and the government have the responsibility of dealing with these dark forces threatening the fabric of our society and our cherished values, but the people themselves have a responsibility and a role to play. In 1947, when Mahatma Gandhi decided to go on a fast in the face of the communal carnage in Calcutta, a distinguished leader wrote to him, trying to dissuade him from taking the step. He asked, "Can you fast against gundas?" Gandhiji's reply was revealing. It is we who make the gundas. Without our sympathy and passive support, gundas will have no leg to stand upon. I want to reach the hearts of the people behind the gundas. In the situation obtaining today, the people have the right, the duty, and the opportunity to dissociate themselves from individuals and groups who propagate and indulge in corruption, violence, and crimes against society. They must not give them passive support, as Gandhiji advised, and shun and isolate them in society. Together with governmental action, this would produce results. In this context, we can take a lesson from our experience of fighting terrorism in Assam, Punjab, and Kashmir. The people, tired of violence and insecurity, dared to break out of the mystique of fear of the terrorist and asserted their will for normal life. This was followed by democratic elections, which acted as some sort of a social and political therapy. The essential element in all this was the attitude of the people. We have to mobilize ourselves and harness our energies against the forces of violence, corruption, communalism, and casteism. And we will have to release the energies of women, scheduled castes, tribes, backward classes, and minorities. The social and economic and political empowerment of women is a prerequisite to the revitalization of our development and democratic processes. My fellow citizens, in a few days we will be observing the martyrdom of Mahatma Gandhi. This kind of collective action is the least that we can do in memory of his great sacrifice. And within a couple of weeks, the nation will go to polls in the largest democratic elections in the world, involving an electorate of 600 million people. I have no doubt that under the vigilant eye of the Election Commission of India, we will have free and fair elections in which the people could express their sovereign will. Fellow citizens, while we are engrossed in our own concerns and problems, we cannot forget that we live in a world and in a neighborhood. We can take pride that we are regarded in the world as a mature and vibrant democracy and a country that is forging ahead into the 21st century as a considerable economic and industrial power. In the past, we have given to the world great ideas and philosophies. After independence, we have had the privilege of initiating the policy of non-alignment, and we have worked for peace in the world with sincerity and passion. Today, in cooperation with the peoples of the world, particularly the non-aligned and developing countries, we are working for a just, equitable, and peaceful world order. We have extended our hands of cooperation and friendship to our close neighbors. Our destiny is linked with their destiny, and we stand for friendship with all nations and pursue our objectives of peace and disarmament and development. On the occasion of our Republic Day, we send our greetings to all the nations of the world, and to my sisters and brothers, and to the youth of this great country, I convey my good wishes for the Republic Day. The flag that will be unfurled tomorrow on state buildings and atop millions of homes inspire us to work for peace and prosperity that is shared by all in this motherland of ours. Jai Hind.